Well, hi everyone. We are on Miracle number 30 today in our devotions through the miracles of Jesus this summer. We only have a couple more weeks left of this series, and so I hope you're enjoying it. We're in Luke chapter 13, verse 10 today. This is what it says. One Sabbath day, while Jesus was teaching in the synagogue, he encountered a seriously handicapped woman. She was crippled and had been doubled over for 18 years. Her condition was caused by a demonic spirit of bondage that had left her unable to stand up straight. When Jesus saw her condition, he called her over and gently laid his hands on her, and then he said, "Dear woman, you are free. I release you forever from this crippling spirit." Instantly, she stood straight and tall and overflowed with glorious praise to God. The Jewish leader who was in charge of the synagogue was infuriated over Jesus' healing on the Sabbath day. 6 days you are to work, he shouted angrily to the crowd. Those are the days you should come here for healing, but not on the seventh day. The Lord said, "You hopeless frauds. Don't you care for your animals on the Sabbath day, untying your ox or donkey from the stall and leading it away to water? If you do this for animals, what's wrong with allowing this beloved daughter of Abraham, who has been bound by Satan for 18 long years, to be untied and set free on a Sabbath day?" When they heard this, his critics were completely humiliated, but the crowd shouted with joy over the glorious things Jesus was doing among them. I'm amazed by a couple of things in this passage. Of course, the first, how much Jesus cares for this woman who had been bound. She had been bound with this disease for 18 years, and Jesus sees her in the crowd. And he approaches her. He calls her out. He so desperately wants this woman to experience the freedom and the healing, and he just cares so much for the hurting. And sometimes we can wonder, if Jesus is present and if he cares and if he sees our brokenness. And as we've gone through these miracles, I hope that you see how Jesus cares for those who are broken. And another thing I'm amazed by in this passage is how stuck we as religious people especially can get in our ideas of how things are supposed to be, of how things are supposed to work, of how the world is supposed to work. We can get so stuck, and then here Jesus comes in and he does something radically different than what you're supposed to do, heal on the Sabbath. And the religious people get so infuriated. And I know that as I think about the world we live in and all the things that are going on in our world, I can get so angry. This emotion, I can, just like this, the religious leaders in this story, I can get infuriated and indignant and displeased with everything that's going on. And it's this word that is used here in the Greek is actually the same word that was used when James and John asked to sit at the right hand of Jesus and the left hand of Jesus, and a couple of his disciples, they wanted to have this prominent place, and the other disciples were indignant. They were infuriated with James and John. It's the same word to describe how Jesus how the chief priests and scribes were towards Jesus because of the things that he was doing throughout the Gospels. There's this idea of being indignant, and there's only one place where Jesus was infuriated, where the same word was used, that Jesus was indignant, and it was when he rebuked the disciples for rebuking the children to come to him. He was infuriated at his disciples for not allowing the little children to come to him. And so as I was thinking about this word and this season that we're living in, and being infuriated and indignant isn't necessarily wrong, but it does matter what we choose to be displeased about. See, the indignation of Jesus toward his disciples when they weren't letting his children come to him is one thing, but being indignant towards Jesus for the new thing that he is doing among us is dangerous. See, more often than not, when I get infuriated about the world and what's going on in our world, it typically comes from a self-righteous place, jealousy, and this sense that this isn't the way it should be. And I think we need to look really hard at what we allow to make us mad, infuriated. and ask Jesus to help us discern what we should be indignant about and what we shouldn't be indignant about. See, I think we've gotten to a place in our culture where we don't know what we should be angry about anymore. And people are telling us we should be angry about this and angry about that and not angry about this and all that. And I just think we've got to come to Jesus and figure out what displeases him and lean into that. Don't assume that what you're angry about right now is what Jesus is angry about. And don't assume that if you're not angry, Jesus isn't angry. I mean, it's very possible that Jesus is angry about things that you're not angry about, and it's very possible that he's not angry about things that you're angry about. See, we need to come to Jesus for life, for hope, for wisdom, for understanding, to listen to his heart, to read his word, to ask him to help us, to be angry about the things that anger him and to be not angry about the things that don't anger him. So Jesus, I pray for our church today. I pray that you would help us to reflect your heart in our generation. Have a great day, everybody.